Hi, I'm Aeris-Blue from Team Animationists, and today we are delving into our very first ever Verses. Today we have two Exorcist-based series. Slaying demons is a very common theme in anime, but today we are going to be comparing D.Gray-man versus Blue Exorcist. Our Versus series is going to be a comparison between two series, deciding which one does things better, but not necessarily which one is best. So let's start off with the plots for the two series. We'll start with Blue Exorcist, because B comes before D and no other reason than that. Blue Exorcist is the story of Renakumura, who is the illegitimate son of Satan, who, with his twin brother, is the illegitimate son of Satan. His quest? To destroy his own father for the evil he wroughts on the world. D.Gray-man follows Alan Walker in his quest to save the Akuma's souls that have been trapped inside the Millennium Earl's evil devices. Or is it to find the heart? Well, no. I think it's to defeat the Noah. But no, after that they... Well, for that factor alone, I gotta give it to Blue Exorcist. It has a very simple, concise plot that tells you exactly what's going to happen in the end. From there, let's progress to the world that the characters live in. This is what shapes them, what changes your perception of what the characters experience. For this, I'm going to go more specifically, which one would you rather live in? It's easier to submerge yourself in a world that you feel you'd like to be in, so we're going to go with that. The Blue Exorcist world is a modern rendition of Japan. It's pretty much exactly as it would, except for the tiny little demons that pop up everywhere and cause a general amount of chaos. Versus the D.Gray-man world, which is a parallel version of 18th century Europe. This world is inhabited by the Akumas, which pretty much go around killing people. Blue Exorcist demons, not so much. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but for the lack of death in the Blue Exorcist world, I'm going to have to give it to them. From there, let's go to our central location, the hub world, if you will, for both of these series. Blue Exorcist, the True Cross Order / the Exorcist Cram School, is a city located in the middle of Japan, and it's located in the middle of Japan. It's shaped as if it is on a mountaintop, and it's cool. It's an entire city staggered in tiers, and it has everything you need. But you can't afford most of it, or at least that's Rin's problem. You see delicious pastries you want? You can't have them. There doesn't seem to be much of a student discount. The advantage, though, is in this place there are keys that can get you from place to place very quickly, which would actually be kind of fun. But the keys are limited to higher up officials, so it's not like you could just go room hopping. The D.Gray-man hub world is the Black Order, which doesn't sound like very nice, but located on the top of one of the world's tallest mountains is a column that represents the Black Order. Once you've climbed this mountain and proven yourself capable of being an exorcist, you will live in simple conditions. Admittedly, your room, you probably have it because somebody else died. But the best part about this is the fact that their chef can cook anything from all around the world. It's all you can eat, and it's totally free. Not to mention that all the scientists they have running around surely can help you if you catch the common cold. So for this one, despite the trek up the mountainside, I'm going to give it to D.Gray-man. That's enough about the worlds. Let's start with the lead characters that inhabit this world. Alan Walker versus Renakumura. Renakumura is an energetic little spawn of Satan. He's mischievous as you would expect him to be. But he loves his friends and he loves his companions. He will fight any battle he deems worthy, and a few that he doesn't. He kind of has a little tendency to abuse his power, but that's sort of the fun. He's very capable of making mistakes, and the author makes sure that he does commit them from time to time. He's not a perfect hero, which is nice to see. D.Gray-man's Alan Walker carries on his shoulder a sin that he committed when he was younger, which I'm not going to spoil. And so he seeks to find acceptance in this world, as well as atonement for the sin he committed. At first he seems like a very cliche cut and dry character. He does good for the sake of good, but he's also has a tendency to be clumsy, and he has a dark side brought on by his master Marion Cross. And it's because of the fact that the character balances back and forth between his dark side and his light side that you have the gray universe that the D.Gray-man series tries to set up. Which is why, as a lead character, I'm going to say Alan Walker beats Rin Okumura. So let's talk about the villains. In any story, they're normally the most compelling thing. They're what the hero has to rise up against to prove their worth. But for these series, it's kind of a little hard. In Blue Exorcist, the main antagonist should be Satan. I mean, that is what Rin wants to aspire to defeat. But he hasn't been in the manga since the first couple of chapters, and in the anime it's so rushed that I don't even know if that's an actual adaptation of what the author intends. So I'm gonna go ahead and label Mephistopheles as the antagonist, even though he's the good guy, but he's totally not. And he's going to be going up against D.Gray-man's Millennium Earl. The Millennium Earl from D.Gray-man is a little on the messed up side. Looking at the guy, you wouldn't expect much of him. He kind of looks like a creepy, messed up plush that you would see around Halloween as a gag gift. But this guy contracts with humans that have missed their loved ones, so he'll go to funerals and he'll say, "Hey, I'll bring your loved one back for you. All you have to do is say their name." This, of course, in a time of grieving, is too good of an opportunity not to miss, even though you look at the guy and you might think something suspicious. But if they agree to make this contract, they call out the name, and their loved one comes back. But kills the person that made the contract, wears their skin, and is then completely depleted of all their personality and turned into an Akuma, which will then just seek out the blood of everyone. That's pretty messed up, and that's coming from a guy that puts the Joker to shame. I mean, look at that smile. On the other side, Mephistopheles is the incarnation of Loki. He is a trickster. He will get what he wants in the end, even if he has to set it up from the beginning. In the manga, we've seen multiple examples of the fact that this guy knows where things are going. He knows what's going to happen before it happens, and he will steer things right from the beginning. From the second the twins are born, Mephistopheles is there, and he is ready to set up whatever plan he has coming. Like I said, we don't know what he's going to do. I don't even know if he's going to end up actually being an antagonist, or if he's going to continue his role of pseudo-protagonist. So for that sake alone, I'm going to go with the Millennium Earl. Let's talk about the villain's sidekicks. Well, again, they aren't really Mephistos. Well, he's a demon, they're a demon. Anyways, Blue Exorcist has a series of demons. These are normally actually really cute creatures based around Japanese mythology, and it's very neat to see them drawn, because of the fact that they aren't the big, menacing, villainous things that we're used to seeing. They're more like the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. You look at them and you're like, well, that's harmless, and then you get swarmed by a bunch of them and you're like, this was a bad idea. Capable of possessing people, altering moods, and just causing general mischief is what we've seen these demons capable of doing. On the other side, these are, as mentioned, deceased that have been forced to kill against their will. If you find yourself encountering one of these and you get off with just a scratch, that's too bad. You're going to end up with the Akuma virus running through your body, and your body's going to disintegrate into ash. That is, if you happen to avoid one of the blasters, massive attacks that these things are capable of. And there are a lot of them. Can you think of how many people die and you wish for them to come back? There's a lot of Akuma running around. Several story arcs where they invade entire cities and just take over. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it to the Akuma from D.Gray-man. Lastly, we're going to talk about the supporting cast. These are the characters that someone like me probably pays more attention to than the main characters. So, the supporting cast for Blue Exorcist versus D.Gray-man. First off, Blue Exorcist. Because, again, B comes first, and I think I've been doing them first almost every single time anyways. The Blue Exorcist cast is a small group that is incredibly tight-knit, consisting of Rin's twin brother, Yukio, Bon, who is the cliché delinquent type, Kanekamaru, sorry if I pronounce these names, who is the nerdy type, Shima, who is lazy, Izuma, who is the hoity-toity girl that's probably not actually hoity-toity, and Seimei, who is the adorable cutesy one that just has to prove herself by the end of the series. These characters are incredibly tight-knit, and because of their dynamic and how flat they are to begin with, you have a ton of room to develop these characters. Which is why they play so well off of each other. They do a lot of fun, quirky things, and the series isn't afraid to take a break from action scenes to have the characters goof off and make a cake for Christmas. On the D.Gray-man side, we have a huge cast of characters, ranging from one-shots to every episode to why are they here now and they weren't earlier. The D.Gray-man cast has lots of cool, developed characters. Characters that start off as worrisome people grow up to be strong, independent people. You get to watch these characters develop over a course of time, but unfortunately, they fall flat in the fact that there's so many of them. Even if we were to limit it down to the main group, there'd be an argument as to who the main group is. Konda is not with the main group most of the time, despite being considered one of the main characters, so do you count him as part of the main group? Aeris-Blue comes in much later in the series in comparison to the other ones, so does he count, as well as Lavi. They aren't as tight, they aren't a uniform group. So with that in mind, the last point goes to Blue Exorcist. So if you're looking for a clear, concise plot, there's 1 point for Blue Exorcist. Point. An interesting and developed world that you'd want to live in, that's another point for Blue Exorcist. If you want a whole bunch of free food and the cure for the common cold, that's 1 point for D.Gray-man. If you want an interesting and developed lead to follow throughout the course of the entire series, that's another point for D.Gray-man. If you want a really messed up villain who's admittedly not in the series enough, go with D.Gray-man's Millennium Earl. If you're going to run in terror from something, you're going to be visiting the D.Gray-man world and cowering from Akuma. But if you want a strong, tight-knit, supporting cast that isn't afraid to take breaks from the action scenes to just goof around and have fun, you're going to go with Blue Exorcist. So, at the end of this versus, 3 points Blue Exorcist, 4 points D.Gray-man, making D.Gray-man our winner for the day. Thank you so much for watching. I really like doing comparisons, so I hope this video isn't too terribly long. I'm Aeris-Blue from Team Anime-ishness, and we will see you in the next video. Later! I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on these two series. Both of them are really good and really interesting, and I love all the characters and how they work off of each other. I want to know what you guys think, so please comment down below. While you're liking and subscribing would be great. But if you just want to leave a comment, I'm fine with that too.